Hey guys, Jim from the HomeServerShow.com here to show you what happens when you fill up a Drobo and how you can replace it with drives to upgrade it on the fly. So what we have here is the Drobo is full of 4 80 gig hard drives. We have 125 gig of used space and 90 gig free, and all we're doing is a super high-tech operation where we're copying files into a file directory to start to fill that up. And so over time, that hard drive will fill up with space and eventually won't be able to take on anymore. We'll come back and I'll show you how you can upgrade those drives to increase the space capacity without really having to do much. So back shortly with more information. You can see here we have a 1 terabyte drive, 1 terabyte Western Digital drive that we're going to put in its place. Now I do want to highlight what's going on on the Drobo right now, and so it has gone into a red status saying it's out of available free space, and it can't really actually guarantee any data protection at this point. But we know that. That's why we're replacing it with a larger drive. So let's go back to the Drobo. We'll take the 1 terabyte hard drive, put that in the unit, and it just snaps in as so. And if we look back at the dashboard console, we can see that it already pulled up the drive, added it into the pool, so we have a 1 terabyte drive and 3 80 gig hard drives in there. Data protection is in process, so the file transfer that we're doing will slow down some, although that's actually speeded up since I put that drive in. The free space is becoming available, and you can see that data is moving out much quicker now that the drive's freed up. If we look back to the Drobo, we'll see that the drives are blinking. It just means don't remove any drives at this time. We'll come back to the screen. We'll see that data transfer is still in process. So you can kind of see through that example, I had a file transferring in process. We had filled up the amount of available space. We added a larger drive. I'll give it some time now. We'll come back as soon as it's done formatting. We're back now. It's been about 20 minutes since we replaced the original 80 gig hard drive with a 1 terabyte hard drive. And you can see from the advanced controls data console that it's projecting about 4 hours to format that 1 terabyte hard drive. One of the things I wanted to highlight was that I could still continue to do things if I wanted to on the drive. This wouldn't mean I had to stop. So if I could just copy this file and paste it back in that folder, just a simple file copy. It was something you would do in a Windows home server and copy files to it. You can see I can still make data file transfers to that drive. They still do work, but we can see at the same time it's still working hard to get that process. So we'll give it the 4 hours that it takes to get that process, and then we'll come back and add some more drives to upgrade the capacity of the Drobo. Back, and the Drobo is finished formatting the 1 terabyte drive that I put in earlier, and you can see here it's in a yellow status, and the reason that's so is because if I go to advanced controls, I can see here it's recommending at this point that I replace that second 80 gig hard drive. It's doing that because once I put the 1 terabyte drive in, it realizes it can't use the full capacity of the 1 terabyte drive until it gets some additional space. Now I could still continue to use this space that's available. There's about 32 gig of free space with that in there, but I am going to need to upgrade the next drive in that. So if you look at the Drobo itself, you can see that that second bay light is indeed orange and is requesting a drive, and I have another 1 terabyte drive here to put in. So we're going to do that now. I want to reach over, pop that drive out. We'll add that to the other hard drives that are in there, and we'll take the 1 terabyte drive that I have ready to go. We'll feed that in, and again it'll take a second for the Drobo to pick that up and format it. We'll move back over here, and you can see again in the Drobo console, and if you were a regular user and you wouldn't have to have the console, you could just look at the Drobo lights to do this. Again, we'll go back to the Drobo, and you'll see that all 4 drives are flashing now, which just means that it really doesn't want you to pull any drives at this point. Okay, we'll go back to the console and see now we have about 880 gig worth of free space, and it is now the data protection is now in progress. So it's going in, it's restriping that drive, it's formatting it. If we pop back over here, you can see that the data protection mode is in process. We've got 2 1 terabyte drives in. Later we're going to replace these 80 gig drives with 1.5s and load this thing up. So we'll let that progress for a while now. We'll let that format, and we'll come back and see what it looks like when that is done. I look at this 5 hours remaining on the progress of the formatting of these drives, and I think that's a long time. It is. It's doing a lot. The Drobo's getting that drive ready to be part of the data pool. I do want to highlight one thing though. This doesn't stop me from doing anything. So again, I'm back in my screen. I'm back here at the file directory, and if I wanted to paste another drive or move a copy of a drive in there, I could. It'll still allow me to do that, and it'll actually do it pretty fast. Do have to remember that I do have, in this case, almost a gig of free space, and it sees that as free space. It's going to accept that free space, allow me to use it and take advantage of it. Not fully protected yet. It's still in progress, and so it's still humming along. If you come over here and you look at the Drobo, it's still clicking away. This gives you the idea with the lights flashing that it is formatting the drives, and it doesn't want me to remove any of those drives that are in there. But a handy operation going on where I could upgrade the capacity of my drives, put them in, kind of walk away from it, and in most cases be able to still continue to operate. Again, if I was doing this to replace drive extender, I could operate business as usual. The data would be going on as soon as the drive is formatted. I know that data would be protected. So that's doing it. Another, as we look at this, another 5 hours remaining on that. I'm going to go ahead and let that roll, and when that's completed, we'll come back and do the same procedure with the 1.5 drives that I have. I'm sure those will be no different, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this tutorial up, and when I do those, if there's anything unusual, I will do another video and post that. So I hope you've seen here that how easy it is to upgrade upgrade your storage drives on the Drobo. And get more space out of it if you were trying to use it to replace drive extender on Windows Home Server. Thanks for watching.